One guy, he can shoot. The other guy, not so much.
Where we gonna go to celebrate? Thinking Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay, yep.
Get that stuff out of here.
And although they're very different in many ways, most importantly, they're brothers for life. And they always gonna have something to say.
That's exactly what's gonna happen. You gonna end up like Russell Westbrook. You gonna be just out. Here we go. Welcome back. I got something to say. Quentin Q. Smith with my partner Alan A.J. Ward, and now we're joined by our friend Amber from Jacksonville, Florida. Amber, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really good.
Cool. All right, so Amber's going to join us in a little discussion that we're going to call "How Much Land Does a Man Really Need?" Now, it's true. All of us need to make an honest living. All of us need money to survive in this world that we live in. But what we want to talk about is this. How much money do you really need to survive and to be happy? Many people go throughout their lives trying to acquire more and more and more and more and more to satisfy that desire to feel like they've hit a plateau of security, safety, and happiness. I think that's bull jive. I think that more money, more problems. And sometimes you can be so obsessed with making money and trying to use money to please others and impress others that you will in fact defeat the purpose and be left wanting more in this vicious cycle that never ends. Amber, I'm gonna turn it to you. What do you think? Am I tripping or am I on to something?
It's about 50-50. I think it's really relative on how you grew up and what your attitude was towards your upbringing. So you know how some people, they grow up maybe in poverty and they feel like they learned how to live with less. And then some people, you're like, I'm never gonna live like that anymore. And they just want everything they can get because they didn't have it. So, I mean, I can see both sides, but I mean, I can understand both sides too.
All right, so let me ask you this question. If you had to lean towards one side or the other, where are you at?
I really feel like if somebody think they need a certain amount of money for something, I think they should go ahead and do that, because after a while, it's nothing you can tell them. It's nothing you can tell people who feel like they don't have it. You can't convince people not to go after what they really think they don't have or what they really want.
Alan, I'm at a loss of words. Go ahead.
I feel like, I mean, I don't think you need a lot, honestly. I think you just need the bare minimum in life you got to be content. I feel like you got to be content with what you have. Bread, water, crackers, things like that. You got to be content with all that. You start wanting more and more, like you said, you trying to hit that plateau of what you think is enough. It can lead to problems. A lot of rich people, they have family issues because everybody wants something from them. And I just think it leads to a lot of issues.
Yeah, and before I yell at Amber for what she said, I want to make this point that I know people in my life specifically that, won't. It's kind of funny. It's like they're trying to make the next move in life, especially financially, but it's causing them to be stagnant. And what I mean is this. They are so focused on getting this next dollar, getting this next promotion, getting this next college degree that they don't actually take care of. First of all, they're not happy. Second of all, they're not taking care of whatever business they need to take care of at home, and is actually putting their families or their people around them on hold, not giving them or giving that the attention that it needs, and they're suffering whether they know it or not. And if they don't feel like they're suffering, eventually in the future, when they look back on all that lost time from trying to get all that extra money that they don't need, because like Alan said, food, clothing, shelter, ain't got to be nice and fancy. I've said it every single episode that I sit up here and I have to save up to be poor, right? But I'm happy. I'm cool. Now, Amber, I just want to turn it back to you. And by the way, let me say this real quick. Just because you want nice things, ain't nothing wrong with that. I would like to have a lot of nice things, but I'm not gonna kill myself or go broke to get it. Amber,
Okay,
jump
so
back in there. Talk to me.
So how do you convince somebody that they have enough?
Are they eating?
They're eating, but they don't like that food. They don't like crackers. They don't like water. They want flavored water.
Well, you can go. I tell you what. Go to the store. They got that Mio. You know, you just squirt it in the water. Boom. Strawberry, banana flavored, orange, vanilla, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
But how do you convince me? So say I'm somebody who I'm like, oh, I don't have enough. Try to convince me that I have enough.
Are your bills getting paid?
Some of them, but I have more bills than you because I make more and I spend more.
Well, that's the problem. You spend more. That's the problem. That's why you ain't got enough. You're spending too much.
So how? Okay. Let me ask you a question. So I need an accountant and a financial advisor. Then what? I got that in store.
Well, I mean, what you buying?
Buying yachts. I'm buying mansions. I'm buying. I live in Florida. We got a lot of water, you know? So I didn't grow up.
But you just said you don't like water.
I grew up, I didn't know how to swim. Now I'm going to get a boat. You see what I'm saying?
Get you a life jacket, you be just fine. Go out there and splash in the puddles, and you be just fine. Alan, you got anything to say? I just can't breathe right now.
Actually, I think Amber has actually kind of convinced me. Like, you really can't convince nobody that they have enough. I mean, because enough to you is not enough to somebody else. Like this bed, this queen size bed, I might want a king size bed. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I want me a king size bed. I don't want that little futon that you sleeping on. Hey, it's a need, brother. Sometimes it be a need. So
okay. So here's where I'm about to like get upset with you. Cause listen.
All right, well, hold on. How often do you get a new iPhone?
Not that often.
That's not true.
Not that often, but how many have you had? And was one of them broken?
What iPhone you got right now?
The XR.
Oh.
I just got it last year. I had a 6 up until last year. I had a 6 up until 2019. Are you kidding me? When did the 6 come out?
Last year.
So you gonna lie on camera? All right. Amber, when did the 6 come out? You know this because you rich.
It was so many phones ago. I don't remember.
That's my point. But go ahead.
All right, so I can give you an example. I know someone. I wasn't supposed to say she, but yeah, she makes well over $40 an hour, honestly. And she was in the market for a spouse. And anybody who makes far less than what she makes, it's not enough. Because what if she lose her job? Now they both poor. Oh.
Okay, so let me just say this. Because here's my only thing. Here's my only thing. To each his own, different strokes for different folks. If you feel like you can't live off $40 an hour, then that's just a whole nother issue that I can't conceptualize or fathom, because we already know my situation that I said earlier. I save up so I can be poor, right? But here's what I'm saying. If you come across some sort of cataclysmic quandary in your life and you cannot be content with having less for I was gonna say a brief amount of time, but you never know how long hard times may last. If your happiness is contingent on that dollar, then you will not be happy, because money comes, money goes. Things happen in life. The stock markets crash. We've lived through, I mean, we were young, albeit, but we've lived through a recession which transpired in 2008. And I mean, you have to be able to say, look, if I can have these nice things, have this extra money, all these wants, if I can obtain my wants, that's fine. But when those wants become needs in your mind and you can't have it, then what? At the end of the day, okay, I can eat, I can pay my bills, I got somewhere to lay my head, my roof ain't leaking, you know, my family is safe to a reasonable degree anyway, because nobody's really safe in this world because of all the nefarious iniquities that transpire. But still,
there you go, them words.
But I do.
You know what you just did.
Amber,
What
jump
is that?
in.
What does
Inequities
that
is not
mean?
that huge of a word.
Thank you.
Inequities,
Nefarious?
unequal. Oh well.
Yeah.
All right. Words with friends. Okay. So
You play that game?
I do. I don't know
Oh,
half the words. I just be
you be
that
Googling
look
them?
like that
That's
fits
because
there. Nah, if it look
half
like
the
it fit,
words
it
on Words with Friends aren't actually words. When you tell me Ohio ain't no word, and I live in, don't even get me started. We on a different subject. It's a
it's not
different
a word. It's
subject
a
for a different
name.
day. Huh?
It's a name. It's a name, not a word.
Go ahead. Just talk
Just
about
because
this
it's a
topic.
noun don't mean okay. So I say that because some people after they've been making this amount of money and then you ask them to simplify or like to downgrade, you can't. I mean, they got this big house already. How they gonna pay their bills if they simplify maybe their job or their life, or they'll have to or say for example, uh they get sick and their bills have exceeded, you know, their time off. So now the faces. So now they can't pay their month's rent. So that's why people expect to keep working and keep making a certain amount of money because they have to keep up their lifestyle. You can't. It's nothing you can do to make them be like, oh well, yeah, I guess I should simplify. It's not you can really tell people. They have to learn for themselves.
Okay, I agree with you there. People need to learn for themselves. You know, people need to come to that conclusion by themselves. Like Alan said, nothing you can do to make somebody, you know, believe that, you know, you can actually be happy with less. I just feel like it's a dangerous mentality to get into because, again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with wanting more, right? But when you can no longer be content with less, if you had to be, you setting yourself up for failure because it's gonna come a time where I mean, even rich people, like Alex said, I mean, we see rich people go broke all the time, right? There's obviously something happens that, Alan, don't you make that face at me. We are not doing this right now.
Ooh, do you want to do this?
No, we ain't doing this right now.
Yeah, you don't want to have this conversation
Bruh.
because you're going to lose.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Life in this world can't be hard.
Okay.
Let's
Anyway,
have it.
Well, let
Let's
me do
transition.
this.
Let's
Go ahead,
transition to
Amber.
that.
So I will agree that you need a cutoff number. So people who think, oh, I'm waiting until
Cutoff number.
till this amount of money to make a life decision, then I think they do need like a cutoff number and they need to stick to it. So if they feel like, oh, right now is not the time, then when is gonna be the time? So you have to like plan it out, make a goal, and you have to reach it. Otherwise, you just scrap whatever it was you had in the works because you're not working towards it. So if you do have a goal, say for example, you want to go out on a trip. I always wanted to go to this place, and I don't have enough money right now. I'm saving, but how much are you going to save? You have to have like the number, otherwise it'll never be enough.
Yeah, and you know what? I think people move the goalpost too much. I was telling somebody, it might have been Alan here. I can't remember. It probably was Alan because he'd be talking crazy and I had to redirect him. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. That's a different story for a different day. Just rock with me right fast. Accept it, Alan. So, but it's like, okay, once upon a time long ago, some years ago, I was working at Home Depot, content with what I was making until, you know, it's like, okay, I need a little more money, all right? So I was like, man, if I could just have this amount, if I could just make, you know, $11, right, instead of $8.60. Okay, boom. Now it's like, okay, I made 11. I'm still not happy here, and I keep moving the goalpost to the next dollar amount. I'm never actually content with what I have, and it turns out to be detrimental because it's like, man, I always feel like I'm leaving something on the table when in essence, when you look at where I've come from to where I am now, it's like, dang, man, you make a lot more money than you did once upon a time. We got to get out of here, though. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be right back after this. Booyah! Fake instrument, take one. It's not an instrument. Not an instrument.
Not an instrument.
In your face.
That's not an instrument.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a beautiful instrument. Get y'all one. Get you a little Akai Iwi USB. It's dope. You can play,
What all can you play on that there Iwi?
you can play the violin. You can play clarinet. You can play the flute. You can play the saxophones.
Which
all
is,
of them.
which is not
You can play the bass clarinet.
ill authentic.
You can play
Snare drum.
Actually, play piano on this.
You can play the piano. Okay, I'm done. I'm going away. I can't do this.